Imagine this. A rainy night sitting alone at a bus stop when a figure approaches. A person in a grotesque purple mascot suit. It seems harmless at first, but something feels terribly wrong. What would you do if an offer came your way that promised money, anonymity, and a chance to escape your past? That's how I got pulled into a life where a sinister suit controlled my every move, forcing me into a nightmare I couldn't escape. What happens when the line between man and monster blurs? Hello everyone, I'm Dusky Nights, and I bring you real-life horror stories that will help you fall asleep. But before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And what time is it right now? Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. The visitation room is cold. A sharp, sterile chill pervades the space, where the hum of fluorescent lights casts an eerie glow on the stark white walls. The glass barrier between me and my son, Adam, feels more like a prison than the one he's already trapped in. The only tangible connection between us is the gray telephone that rests on the metal table between us. I sit on the hard plastic chair, my body frozen in place. My mind is a whirlwind of confusion and disbelief. What am I supposed to feel? What's right? What's wrong? Since that day 2 weeks ago, my world has stopped. Time has become meaningless. The only constant is the deep ache in my chest that no amount of time seems to dull. The door opens, and there he is. Adam shuffles in, his head low, his prison uniform swallowing his slight frame. He's a shell of the boy I once knew, no longer the bright, eager teen who had dreams, but a broken figure wearing the weight of his actions like a cloak. A tall officer escorts him to the seat, his hand gripping Adam's shoulder in a way that sends a shiver down my spine. The guard stands behind him, towering and unmoving, a constant reminder of the horror that led to this moment. I watch my son carefully, his eyes fixed on the floor, avoiding mine. The shame in his posture is palpable. As a mother, I can feel it in my bones. I know him too well. It's not just guilt. It's something darker, something more dangerous. We both pick up the phones at the same time, and the metallic clink echoes in the silence. "Hi, son," I say, trying to keep my voice even. "How are they treating you here?" "It's okay, Mom," he replies softly. His words are flat, devoid of the warmth I once cherished. I probably deserve it. His words hit me like a slap. I swallow hard, trying to keep my composure. "I don't understand why you did it," I say, my voice trembling as tears start to gather in my eyes. "But I'll always love you. You're still my son." As soon as I speak those words, Adam drops the phone and buries his face in his hands. His body shakes with sobs, raw and unrestrained, just like when he was a child. The tears fall freely, but it's not the relief of remorse that I see in his face. It's something darker, something beyond understanding. Then, just as suddenly as the sobbing began, Adam lifts his head and picks up the phone again. His voice is colder now, more resolute. Those kids I killed at school, Mom, he starts, his words clipped and distant. You have to understand. They deserved it. They needed to be taken out the way they were. My heart drops into my stomach. A chill runs down my spine. What do you mean, Adam? If they were bullying you, son, that's terrible. But they weren't bullying me, he interrupts, his voice rising sharp and filled with anger. The outburst echoes through the visitation room, catching the attention of the inmates and the guards. The officer behind him steps forward, gripping Adam's shoulder with an iron hand. That's enough, Adam, the officer says sternly. Time to go. Mom, Adam whispers, his voice barely audible as he's dragged out of the room. You need to look in the glove compartment. The words hang in the air as the door slams shut behind him. I sit there, motionless, my mind spinning, paranoid, hallucinating. Was this some sort of twisted joke? As I leave the facility, I can't shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong. The world around me feels off. I drive home in a daze, each mile stretching longer than the last. The questions in my head are overwhelming. How could I not have seen it? How could I not have known what he was capable of? Adam had always been quiet, introverted, a bit of a geek, but he was my son. I thought I knew him better than anyone. My thoughts are interrupted by a black car that has been following me since I left the prison. It's driven by a clean-shaven man, his face hidden behind dark sunglasses, and I can't shake the eerie feeling that I know him from somewhere. He seems to be tailing me with purpose. I turn off the main road, taking a few random streets, but he mirrors my every move. I finally pull into a small store near my neighborhood, hoping to lose him in the crowd, but he parks a few spaces away, still in sight. I rush inside to grab a few items, trying to steady my nerves. But as I'm waiting in line, a voice calls my name from behind. I turn around, startled, only to see a pale woman standing there. It's Jenna, mother of one of the 3 kids Adam killed in the school shooting. Jenna, I ask, my heart pounding in my chest. She smiles faintly, though there's no warmth in it. Hi, Claire. How are you? I flinch at the question. Not very good, she says, her voice flat. Not after everything that's happened. I'm so sorry for your loss. I begin, the words coming out in a rush. What Adam did was unforgivable, and Claire, please, she interrupts gently, placing a hand on mine. This isn't your fault. We both lost our sons that day. I freeze, the reality of her words sinking in. We both lost our sons. Her words are the first thing that brings me comfort, the first touch of kindness I've felt in 2 weeks. From one mother to another, she tells me we need to help each other. Her hug is warm and tight, and for a brief moment, I feel the strength of a shared grief. I leave the store with new resolve, a sense of determination building inside me. I'm ready to confront the man who has been following me. But when I reach the parking lot, the black car is gone. Relief washes over me, but something feels off. I get into my car and drive home, my mind still churning over Adam's cryptic words. As I pull into my driveway, I remember his final instructions. Look in the glove compartment. I hesitate for a moment, then walk to the car. My heart races as I open the compartment. Inside, there's only one thing, a small metallic flash drive. Back inside, I plug the USB into my laptop. The screen flickers to life, and I feel my hands tremble as I open a folder labeled Evidence. The first few images are innocent enough. Photos of the 3 kids who died, snapshots of their everyday lives. I can barely look at them, my heart breaking as I realize that those faces were once full of life. But the photos take a darker turn. One of the boys kissing a girl behind the football field. Another shot of them laughing together, holding hands. But the smiles don't reach their eyes. They look hollow. And then the final photos. The trio standing in a dimly lit, grimy space, their eyes completely white. They're covered in blood, standing over a dead body. A girl ripped apart, her body grotesque. I scroll through more pictures, images of the trio luring other victims. A janitor, an old woman, a child. Their eyes are still that unnerving solid white. The last photo shows them emerging from an alleyway, blood-stained and unrecognizable. The photos are taken in secret, their sickening joy apparent. I'm about to vomit. What were these kids? What had they become? That's when I hear the sound of my front door opening. Is someone there? I call out from the kitchen. My heart skips a beat. I'm alone. I know I am. There's no response, just the creak of the floorboards. I walk cautiously down the hallway, my pulse quickening. I called the police, I bluff, my voice shaking. But I don't have time to reach for my phone. At the end of the hallway, I see a figure standing at the front door. It's Jenna. Jenna, I whisper, my throat tight with fear. What are you doing here? Her face is blank, lifeless, emotionless. She steps closer, her movements slow and deliberate. I don't know what Adam did to you or what he left behind, she says, her voice mechanical. But I can't let you keep it. And then her eyes change. They turn white, just like the kids in the photos. Her pupils are gone, replaced by an empty void. My body seizes up, and I feel my muscles lock in place. My mind screams to run, to scream, but I can't move. I can't blink. Jenna takes another step toward me, her grin widening. Don't even try, Claire. Humans are such pathetic creatures. Her hands stretch, and the fingers begin to morph, elongating into blades, sharp, cold, and gleaming with a metallic sheen. I freeze, paralyzed with fear. And then, just as she's about to strike, gunshots. The air is filled with the deafening crack of gunfire. Jenna crumples, her body jerking as bullets tear through her. I watch, helpless, as the man from the black car steps into the room, gun raised. He doesn't even look at me. His eyes are locked on Jenna's bleeding body. No, she cries, but it's too late. Another shot rings out, and she's silenced forever. The man approaches me, his presence looming like a dark cloud. He kneels beside me, his voice soft, almost apologetic. "Ms. Claire," he says, his hand gently landing on my shoulder. "I know this is a lot to process, but you're not safe here. What your son uncovered, it's not from this world." I look at him, the words hanging in the air, chilling me to the bone. And I know, deep down, that this nightmare is just beginning. I should never have taken the job. If I'd known how far things would spiral, how deep the rabbit hole went, I would have walked away before it even started. But here I am, trapped by my own stupidity and greed, telling you this story from a place I'll never return to, a place far from the city where everything changed. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to reveal my name or where I am now, but I'll give you a hint. If you've kept up with the news, you'll know exactly what city I'm talking about. Or rather, the city I used to call home, before everything turned dark. Let's make one thing clear right from the start. I was a thief, a burglar, a petty criminal. My whole life was a series of break-ins, sneaking into people's homes at night, grabbing anything of value and turning it around for cash. Small-time stuff, jewelry, electronics, cash. Nothing too crazy, just the kind of work that got me by. At least that's how it seemed, until I got sloppy. One night, I made a mistake. Someone heard something, or maybe saw me. I don't know. What I do know is that I was caught, thrown into jail, and given a sentence that felt like it lasted forever. But when I got out, I wasn't exactly welcomed back into the world with open arms. It's not easy for a guy with a criminal record to get back on his feet. The world didn't exactly bend over backward to help me out. It didn't take long for me to realize that I was probably going to end up back in the game. But then, something unexpected happened. I got an offer, and it wasn't from some low-level thug looking to make a quick buck. It was from someone running a much bigger game, someone who saw potential in me. It all started on one of those rainy nights in the city. I was sitting at a bus station, alone, cold, with the drizzle falling all around me. It felt like something straight out of a crime movie. Me, the empty bench, and a single street lamp flickering in the dark. That was when he showed up, the man who would change everything. He wasn't dressed like your typical crime boss or shady businessman. No, this man was wearing a suit. But not just any suit. It was a costume. A mascot suit, to be specific. A giant, fuzzy purple and pink thing. Like a theme park character. I couldn't even tell if it was supposed to be a bear or a dog or something else entirely. It looked like it belonged to a child's birthday party. But there he was, stumbling toward me, his face hidden behind the oversized mesh eyes and a grim, almost annoyed expression. The suit was worn out, old and falling apart. Patches of fur were missing, and it was stained with God knows what. It looked wrong, but I didn't care. not at first. "Are you Claire?" His voice was deep, gravelly, but with an unnerving calmness. Too calm, too emotionless. I nodded, unsure what to expect. "Yeah, that's me." Without hesitation, he laid out the plan. He needed me for a few jobs. Me, him, and a couple of others. We'd all wear the same suit. It was simple, no talking, no interaction. We'd hit places, grab what we needed, and leave. The idea was that the cops would think it was all done by the same guy, one guy in a ridiculous purple bear suit. It sounded absurd, but as he explained the logistics, it started to make sense. We wouldn't be caught. Not if we did it right. It was the perfect setup, and so I agreed. The first job went smoothly. We hit a pawn shop, all dressed in the same awful oversized suit. There was no talking, no chatter. We moved like shadows, as if we weren't even there. The job went fast, and the money was decent. Not a fortune, but enough to keep the rent paid and the lights on. That was all that mattered. Over the next few weeks, the jobs kept coming. I started getting used to it. The suit, the anonymity, the quiet, methodical pace of it all. The boss would call, tell me where to meet, where to go, and what to bring. His voice was always the same, deep, gravelly, emotionless. He never threatened me. He never raised his voice. He simply stated the facts as if he had all the time in the world. And I just followed orders. After all, I had nothing else going for me. But every time I showed up to pick up the suit, it was the same strange, unsettling feeling. The suit, waiting for me in an abandoned building or a hidden parking garage, like it was always just one step ahead, like it was controlling everything. I never saw the boss outside of the suit, and that was fine with me. He was a mystery. I had my theories, of course. He had to be some rich, powerful guy. After all, it takes a lot of money to run a crew like this, to fund all the jobs. But I didn't care. The money was good. The risk was low. That's all that mattered. But things didn't stay easy for long. There was one job, a jewelry store, that changed everything. It was a small, upscale shop called Jared's. I walked in, the gun in my hand, the suit on a body, and I did what I had to do, hold up the clerk, get the cash. But then something went wrong. I heard a buzz. I turned around to see a man on the floor, his eyes wide with fear. His phone was in his hand, and the screen was lit up. He had called the cops. But what really caught me off guard was the fact that the phone was still buzzing. The bastard hadn't even turned off the vibrate function. I was frozen for a moment, thinking about my next move. I could ditch the store and run, but I knew I couldn't afford that. I had to think fast. But I didn't have time to think, because just then, the suit, the damn suit, did something I couldn't explain. It shot him. I swear, I'm not making this up. The suit moved its arm, raised the gun, and shot the man dead in the face. I didn't do it. The suit did. The fingers of the suit clenched tightly around the gun, fired with perfect precision. His head exploded. It was messy, too messy. I didn't even know how to react. I just stood there, shocked, as the suit controlled my every movement. I felt like I was in some kind of twisted nightmare, but I couldn't move. I couldn't get out of it. The suit had taken control. It wasn't over, though. As I tried to leave, the suit stopped me. My legs kept moving, but the damn bare paws were stuck. I couldn't walk. I couldn't escape. The suit, it was in charge. I was nothing more than a puppet in its grasp. It stepped back. I stood there, terrified, unable to move. The girl at the counter complied without a word. I left the store, my heart racing. I had a full bag of jewelry, but it didn't feel like a victory. It felt like I had sold my soul. And then, as if things couldn't get worse, I was arrested. The police caught up with me on the drive back. I didn't resist. What was the point? They pulled me out of the suit and threw me in a holding cell. I thought that was the end of it. But then something happened that I could never have predicted. The suit came for me. I don't know how it got into the station. I don't know how it managed to sneak past the officers, but there it was, standing in the doorway of my cell. The same suit, the same eerie silence. No threats, no words. It just walked in, dropped a gun in front of me, and collapsed. The illusion was gone. The suit was empty. No one was inside. It was nothing more than an empty shell. And that was when I realized that I had been dealing with something far worse than I could ever have imagined. The suit wasn't just a disguise. It was something else. Something that could control me. Something that could kill without hesitation. I fled the station, the suit clinging to me like a second skin. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. But I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back to the city, to the crime, to him, to the suit. The next day, the news hit. The suit freak had attacked the most powerful crime family in the city. The family that controlled everything. The drugs, the weapons, the money. And Suit Freak wiped them out, one by one. No one was left standing. But the worst part, the family patriarch was still alive when Suit Freak got to him. He made the old man watch as he killed everyone in his family and then, without a word, shot him in the head. The suit was unstoppable, and now it was everywhere. I don't know what happened to the boss, the man behind the suit. I don't know if he's still out there, pulling the strings. All I know is that the suit is still out there, and it's getting worse. I left the city that day. I took whatever money I had left and ran. I never looked back. But before I went, I made one last call to a friend with some connections. I needed to know what happened after I left. I needed to know if the suit had killed anyone else. What he told me sent chills down my spine. According to him, Suit Freak had taken out the entire family using all the weapons he had stocked up. He tore through everyone, bodyguards, family members, all of them, until he reached the head of the family. the recounter managed to play dead, and that's when he saw what happened next. Suit Freak came up to the patriarch's bed, took his head off, and let his son take every bullet personally. The Suit is still the most dangerous criminal in the city. No one knows how to stop it. They're even convinced he's been using his new resources to create duplicate suits, multiple versions of the monster, operating in the shadows. And as for me, well, I don't know if I'll ever be free of it. The Suit is still out there, and if it can make more, who knows how many are out there now. One thing's for sure, I'm never going back. I'm never putting that suit on again. But I know it's still out there, watching, waiting, and if the Suit can reproduce, we might all be fucked. I can only hope I'm far enough away that it won't find me again. If you've enjoyed this tale and want to share your own dark, suspenseful, or chilling stories, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always looking for fresh, eerie submissions to bring to life. Whether it's a personal experience, an urban legend, or a tale straight from your imagination, I'd love to hear from you. Submit your story today. Send it to my email at duskynights145@gmail.com. Let's create some unforgettable, spine-tingling narratives together.